Oh,
Okay. So
okay. Yeah.
this is the Plenti office hours. It's a place where we come together and we talk about website development and Plenti, the framework. So it's yeah, myself, Jim, and then we have Ben and Allie here. It's the regular crew, and yeah, I think so. I think you two had some questions, and I'm going to try to answer and as best I can, and we can just talk shop too. That's fine. I don't know, Ben. Do you want
Yeah.
to kick it off?
Yeah, sure, sure. Actually, two of the questions I had were answered in the last sort of issue resolve. So
Okay.
I'll just go with the one. It's just accessing. I got a question. So can I access a boolean added to the index from outside of the component? So what I was thinking was that when here you can set up an if statement around the whole component and just go well, let's show and hide it, for
Mm-hmm.
instance,
Yeah.
in the CMS just via a boolean, and you just go well, that's I was looking at that and I thought I'd try to implement that for one sort of like an events component that
Okay.
the client might want sometimes but not want to show all the time.
Yep.
But when I noticed when you do that, it's a little bit hidden. It's like you got to go into the component on the index, and then it's like, and then to find that where that boolean is, it was a
Mm.
little bit like I could probably show the client. I was thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where it is. But when I was looking at it out, I'm thinking, well, how can I do it on the index when it's sort of out of the scope of the actual component? It's not in the component anymore.
Mm.
If you put it out somewhere
Yeah.
else,
Hmm.
and that might be a little bit hard to implement, or maybe not possible. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you have it on your screen? Do you want to take a look? So what it sounds like is,
Mm.
so when you say index, you mean like the homepage, right? Like the
The
home page
homepage,
content.
yeah,
Yep.
which there's no real index, like there's no real JSON there. Well, there is.
Hmm.
Okay, maybe I'll just show you
Yep. And then
where that might
typically
be.
most pages will be structured in a component architecture, right? So you can like you can
Yeah,
change the order, you can add or remove components.
components.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I'll just get this up. Sorry, I'll now where is um the share button is there. It is. Share the screen entire. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just started the server and I'll just pull it over so you can see on the front
Hmm.
end first. It
Sure. Yeah, that'd
might
be helpful.
be a little bit easier. Um, there we are. So in here,
Hmm.
um, I've put see that I was doing a test one.
Yep.
So I'll just go down a bit. So at the moment, the events component is here.
Hmm.
And I've got this dummy. It doesn't do anything, but
Yep.
that was the idea. I was going to try and put it out here, but
Sure.
you go in, and then you go down, and it's down in
Hmm.
here.
Yep.
I mean, maybe just the position of it, I could put it up here, like somewhere up here above
Yep.
the fields. I don't know, maybe not even above, because it starts with fields, like name fields. So and then so yeah, so the idea here is that you can well, where is it? Oh, that's not even work. Oh, there it is there. Sorry. See, I'm
Yep.
confused.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yep.
So that's all. Just that's the mechanics of just going, okay, just knowing where it is more the point. It's only a small thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's a good point. I mean, it's always challenging to know where to put these things, right? Like you want to put them in a way that are
mhm,
intuitive for folks. One thing I'm noticing here is, so it looks like I mean, we could probably add some padding around these inputs. So in your editor on the side, so sometimes there's style bleed from
mhm,
like your website into those inputs. And I purposely try to design the admin UI with very low specificity in CSS. And the reason being, it
mhm,
makes it very easy to override style. So you could basically style this admin panel however you want. Like you could make it a dark mode, or you could change like the fonts and those type of things. So adding a little padding might make it a little easier to understand and see too. So that's another thing that we might want to do. Yeah, but you
Okay.
could certainly do it at top level like that if you want, Ben. You could make that events
Okay.
true there, display or hide that if you wanted to. But it is a little bit removed from the actual component, so it's kind of like a personal choice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how then would you be able to,
Yeah.
like, so if I
Uh-huh.
at the moment, if I go into the, where is it? I've put it here,
Mm-hmm.
just in here,
Okay.
and it's outside of the, where is the event? See, the events is here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where that one was being. And then
Yep.
if I look at the component, so
So
what is it?
the first thing I would do is I would go in my layouts content index.svelte file. I would make sure that I'm passing that value, right? So that's like
Oh,
step
I
one.
see.
Yeah.
So where
So
again?
in the
To
content
the,
folder, yeah, and then there should be like an
yeah.
index.
Mm,
Is that file? That file is called index, right? So you don't have an index.
I don't have an
Oh, is it? Is
index.
this? Is it in the? Oh, it's in that pages folder.
It's in
By
the
chance?
pages
Okay,
folder.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so if you go to
Yeah.
pages, then
Oh, I see. Yeah.
where you
So
just
where are we?
were, yeah, content,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
pages.
in pages. Yeah, this one.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so then you want to make sure. Okay, so you see that part where it's doing a spread operator on fields. It's dot 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 fields. So that's
Yep.
good. So that means that you're passing the value to that dynamic component there,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And then so if you go to your dynamic component for that events section, you should have
Mm-hmm.
that available if you want it. So yeah. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
so that's basically loading whatever component is being put on the page. One of those
Page. Yep.
components is your events component that you want to hide. So if you go to that component, we can pull that value out.
Okay. Yep. So it would be up here, I'm guessing.
Oh, actually, sorry. Sorry. Can you go back to that pages where you just were at?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I'm I thought about that
Um,
incorrectly. So you can see, do you see where you're doing the each statement on those components there? So you're only
mm-hmm.
spreading the fields of that particular
Fields.
component. You want to spread the
Yes.
fields of your content. So you also want to, you could do this a number of different ways. If
Mm.
you want to just pass that particular thing, you could do it by name,
Thing.
but you could also spread the fields there. So if you do like another thing, just like you're doing the spread of the fields operator, you do
Yes.
spread content.fields as well, right below it.
Oh, I see.
But you're passing your content object. So you don't do that. You don't need to do that. You can just get it out of your content object itself. But yeah, that's
This
basically,
one.
yeah, exactly.
So again, so you would spread the content
Yeah.
object here.
I think you're okay since you're passing the content object, but what
Object. So
being
yeah, I see.
initially where you're spreading the fields, that's the
Mm-hmm.
components field. So that's only
That's
encapsulated
right.
to whatever JSON's
Yeah.
in that component. But your
Yes.
content is actually outside of that component. So you're getting more information out of that content
Option.
object. So you should be good. Sorry. I just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's there. Yeah. Um, and then here it is here, events.
Yep.
So where, oh, that's okay. Yeah. Where are we? The cards. Yeah. So if events here,
Mm-hmm.
and then so you're saying that you need to
Yeah. So
just pass the content,
yeah. So yeah,
like,
make sure content's being a prop that's getting imported up there. So after events,
so,
put a comma at the very top.
oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got to basically make sure that that prop gets imported and put content there. Yep. So now you have available the content fields and then the name of that field that you're using. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want at the
It is
yeah.
content. Yeah. No content. Yeah. And
Um,
then
yeah. So do you want to do that right there, Ben? Do you want this whole section to be the if statement? So if you change
yeah,
events to content,
I see. Oh, okay. So we're not just, yeah, I see.
and then I do I usually do a question mark dot to do a optional chaining. and then do fields,
Oh, fields. Yeah.
and then I do another question dot, and then what's the name of that Boolean that you were using?
It's events.
That's what it's called. Can you go back to that
Yeah.
index.json page at the top
Yep.
there? Okay. Yep. Then great. That's the one you want. Yeah. And so if you save
I
that,
see.
it should, when you click that little checkbox on the front end, it should hide or add that section
Add
back.
that. I see. So yeah, I see. You see. So you're getting access to all of the content, and then you're targeting this field events. Yeah.
Yep. And content is a magic prop that gets, it loads the current page's content. Then that happens behind the scenes. Plenti generates that for you. So if you reload that.
Okay. So if I just come in, and yeah, yeah. So then that's hiding and
Yep.
showing it. Yeah, that's
Yep.
perfect there. Yep. I just think it's a little bit more intuitive if it was out here. You could
Yeah.
sort of see that, oh, okay, maybe, and of course, these components are just named by the component name, but at least you could even just put one underscore, just match the name
Sure.
so it makes it even more obvious
Yep. You
that
could
that's
call it hide
actually
events
connected.
or show events or whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yep.
show events. Yeah, yeah, hide. That's right. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So, the other quick one, I guess it's not related to that, but it's related to components and how you might organize them.
Mhm.
Like when I start, like, look at this site.
Yeah.
I know if I wanted to have a folder, um, I mean that the components is not a bad thing, but um, but I was just thinking about organization. Do you do anything um to sort of manage that? Or like, if you'd probably be able to do that if you just to say, well, if it was in a different folder, maybe
Mhm.
you might say layouts. I,
Mhm.
I think this is where you're saying, pointing to where it is. I think it is somewhere
Yeah,
in here.
exactly. Right.
And
Yep.
then you would just say it's going to be in a folder,
Mhm.
another folder. But there could be many. You might don't know how you organize them, but
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
but anyway, that was just a thought.
Mhm. Yeah, so
To
what's happening
better.
there is, this is something that this is, kind of a sticking point with Svelte. It's their, they don't have a top level await syntax. So basically when you're creating the HTML for the page, the SSR
Mhm,
process, it
mhm,
has no way to generate, dynamically. So this is a dynamic component there, the Svelte colon component. That's a dynamic component. It
mhm,
doesn't know what it is until you pass that value. And Svelte
mhm,
has no way to generate the content, via SSR. So, it can't await
mhm,
these values. It doesn't know what name is until you pass it, right? So basically, what happens is
mhm,
Plenti creates an SEO optimized page by basically generating all the HTML behind the scenes, and then anything that's interactive, it
mhm,
hydrates it, and then you can use that the client on the front end. So because Svelte
mhm,
can't do that automatically, the page would essentially be blank if we didn't go through there
mhm,
and create these component signatures. So we have a way of doing this. Of
mhm,
basically, we convert these paths into component signatures. We find that code within the V8 environment that's running the JavaScript, and we pull that out and we stitch it into the page. So we're like really hacking around that limitation,
mhm,
and that's why there's this whole like weird syntax thing here. This all layouts, and then like the layouts underscore components underscore the name of the component
mhm.
Svelte. So yeah, you could
Yeah.
certainly put it in a different folder if you wanted to, or change, put in several folders and everything. But you just would have to
Mm.
restructure this a little bit.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, but that's okay. And the other just related to that was, like, um, with these, again, just to be clear, I was sort of looking at these content folders,
Mhm.
and and like, by default, right? These are all exposed, aren't they? Like, in the CMS. Like, if I just go here,
Mhm.
I can add. You see, I can add any of these
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I was what I was thinking for the client. Like, they don't really. These are archives sort of folders,
Mhm.
and even this one's not even needed at the moment. So I sort of was wanting to think, well, maybe I should just hide. They only really need to add news and maybe committee news. It's like their committee
Mhm.
separate news.
Yeah.
So is there something I can in like with the overrides? Can I just say just
Yeah.
disable that in here
Yeah.
that it doesn't show, or do I need to do that in CSS somewhere or
Nope, you should be able to do that right through your defaults file so your pages
pages?
defaults.
Okay,
So
okay,
maybe we could take a look at that real quick. So
yeah.
sorry, content pages.
So content pages. Yeah,
Um, okay, so you don't have.
I have. No, I don't
Okay.
have it.
Um,
So I just
yeah, sorry,
add
your post. Sorry, this would be your post 2001. Yeah, those defaults there. Yeah.
these dull ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gotcha. So if you just remove your defaults file,
I'll just remove it. I
yeah.
see. Okay.
And then I can't remember if you have to remove your schema, but let's take a look at what happens when you do that.
Okay. That was the 2021. Yeah, it's gone.
Okay.
Yep. So
Yep.
just remove the defaults.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, the
that's cool.
defaults dictate that, and then the defaults basically say this is what I look like when I get created. So the CMS is like, okay, we have something that we're going to create multiple of
Yeah.
these, and then the schema will tell you exactly what the field structure is.
What the structure is, yeah, because it makes sense to be able to get access to the schema though, because you can see that's sort of independent of the
Mhm.
defaults, yeah, in a sense. So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And that's great because and there was that one part I was really confused about.
Mm.
Remember we were how I could structure, but I got my head around that. It was really good. Thanks for that. I mean,
Yep.
we don't have to go into that one, but yeah, that's all good. I don't want to
Yeah,
take too
we
much
were doing
time.
like the parameter switching of the pages. Yeah, yeah, that was
Pages.
yep, yep.
But yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's probably enough. I don't want to take too much of your time. And then Ali, let's talk to Ali. Ali's coding away there. What are you
Oh,
doing?
yeah, sorry, I was like, I'll just keep coding while you
Mm-hmm.
talk
I'll
about
just
things I didn't understand. Um,
I'll
ah,
stop
I don't
sharing.
remember if you remember, Jim, but we were sort of talking about like those how we could make some speedy websites.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you kind of what I've done so far.
Sure.
Okay, wait, let me get my Google Docs up and then here's a screen sharing thing.
Yeah, it's like a
Yep.
little TV at the bottom.
It's
Yeah,
the third icon.
everyone has it. All the Zoom, they all have it in a slightly different spot. So I have to
Exactly.
okay, share. Oh yeah, you can see. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we've got this. I'll close these. Wait. So we've got this website creation thing.
Okay.
So it uses, I don't know, we kind of might have briefly talked about it, Jim, but we use a thing called Code Stitch.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so for example, hero 6 7, we have these unique identifiers, and so what we do is we first we make like a something in Figma to
Mm-hmm.
design the website, and we base it off of these unique identifying things. So that's kind of what it looks like.
Okay.
And then how it kind of works is like, here, I'll make a new website right in front of you.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
these are my current websites that it's sort of generated. So we have metadata testing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll make another one here called Plenti test. Yeah. So it has a pages.json file in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make this the title, Plenti test. And let's say we'll just have one index page. And so these are all like the components. So I'll just have two here. that we've kind of got in the website. And so what I do is, okay, go here. I'll run my page builder. Wait, here we go. Oh, wait, sorry. First, I have to go into my things here, and I have to copy the pages. It's not very it's very manual right now. So copy this, change into the.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So you have to change the title there, because I've made it a very modular code, so none of these are depend on each other. These JavaScript things. Anyways, so page builder. Okay, so it's made an index, and then this is my website builder. So this generates like the index page here, index.json page, and then this generates a website by basically copying a template and fitting in the page.
Okay.
So now we have Plenti tests, and so if I go cd output websites Plenti test, and then Plenti serve, and then we go to this localhost, we have an automatic generated website.
Very cool.
And, I've only, and then we have these follow a defined structure, these components. So I've only done, we base it on the tag, but I've only done it for the subtitle. But if you go here, you can, it's I have a converter which converts the HTML, which looks like, well, this is what the HTML looks like, and then you go out into the output components hero, and it's, oh wait, yes, and you go up here, and then it's got a
nice.
That's what my little. I'm slowly. So I'm gonna go through and slowly, convert them. So it's.
Yep, it grabs and puts into a JSON file.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So I make lots of little JavaScript things to convert basically the class
components.
And then it calls it into here, so that if there's something wrong with like a specific class and how we're converting that one, then it's. Yeah, and it's cool because then you're like, oh, actually, I think I want to have the hero like 3 times in a row. Yeah, so you go like that, and then we go Control C, and then we go page builder. I
think you're you're in a subfolder.
Subfolder.
Yeah, you're a couple folders up, so that script.
Oh, right. Yes. Good. That was a good call. Page builder. There we go. You're like, I've done that before.
I have. I've certainly done it.
Website builder. Okay. And then we go. Actually, I've done that so many times. Websites. City. Plenti test. And then now if I Plenti serve it. Now I have the hero. Cool. Oh, okay, that's not good. How is it supposed to do that? Anyways,
maybe that's being pushed over, but
yeah,
this is awesome.
Yeah. So that's the idea of it. And we're just waiting to well, not waiting, but I'm slowly going to go through and fill these out so that it will.
It sort of matches the
Yeah. So there's. Yeah,
because they've got sort of a very it's going to obviously be very targeted to Code Stitch, the way that they they're tagged, so the way that they actually title.
Yes.
But the good thing is, Jim, they're very consistent in the way that they do. They use the CS top, like all those naming conventions very strictly throughout all of their components. So it's sort of very predictable. So once you've covered them, all of their cards and their this and that, you can sort of basically cover all of them,
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, this is like the dream, right? It's you know, you get some requirements,
Very fast
you mock up a
websites.
design or whatever, and then it's just like click a button and there it is. So that's awesome. I'm super excited for this.
Yeah.
Also, like, yeah, Code Stitch is cool. Like it having like there's an actual like component library with a specification with like actual ways to like look up and find things. I think that's awesome. That's a good starting point for building something like this. So yeah, that's great. Thanks for demoing that.
Yeah. Once it's more complete, I'll definitely share it.
Yeah.
I would share it now, but then GitLab would make me pay money. So
yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's super cool. I think I could see that being a huge competitive advantage. I mean, websites are weirdly becoming this commodity space. You know, a lot of people there's so much competition in building websites that it's hard because a lot of time the margin gets eaten away by other competitors. Like there's always somebody starting in the industry willing to do it for free or cheap, which is totally understandable. I've done the same thing. But if you have better tools and better automation, then you can compete in that space and hopefully do really well. And if you get, if you can do that really well, you'll get a lot of clients, and that's a competitive advantage itself. So
that'll be nice.
Yeah, no, so cool. I'm super excited.
Well,
for
I
you.
think, I mean, mainly it's just that like that whole cutting down that whole manual process.
Yep.
Like if you going, you've selected the components that you sort of want in general, and then you can generate that. And especially in this with Plenti and the way it separates the JSON, with the data being separate. I mean, that's a pretty manual process, and it's time consuming. So I just mean, just in the developer time, it's just awesome to be able to cut that down, and then you can just focus on the things like the styling, the change, changing up the content and all the things that you need to do with the other assets. And so yeah, it's just one of those time saving maybe aspects, I'd say.
Yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of the stuff is just like generic things that nobody has figured out a way to automate really well. And it's like, it's unfortunate that every client pays for the same generic stuff. And it's like the client should be paying for the custom stuff that you're doing to like really, make it theirs, putting their logos in and their images and writing their copy and that stuff. But yeah, this is cool. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on, because we had the other topic we were going to talk about was Plenti and the
compiling
next step
so
in that process.
So I'll kind of like maybe give a quick background on that for people listening. So the compilation step of Svelte has always been kind of a sticking point in Plenti. It's we load everything into V8, and it's kind of this slow process that has a lot of manual intervention that I have to do in order to make it work, and so it makes it hard to upgrade and those type of things. I've been talking with a couple of folks who are doing similar things. There's this guy Phil. He built a UI framework called Zooey, which is basically, it was just building front end Svelte stuff. There's another guy, Matt, who has a Go framework called Bud that he's kind of building or toying around with building his own templating language called Duo. Ben, I know you sent me some resources. You had been experimenting with using some AI code generation stuff. I'm interested to see more about that. I started playing with something of my own. Just kind of testing around. I have a test repo called like Go templates or custom Go templates or something like that in my GitHub. It's public, but just like playing around with like, what would this look like if we rethought this a little bit? So I think it'd be great, Ben, if you want to show me the stuff that you're working with, and we can kind of think it through and kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm basically trying to evaluate lots of different options right now. I want something better than we have now, but I'm not sure exactly what that is yet. And I'm exploring different ways to do it. There's a lot of promising things. I don't know. There's no clear winning strategy that I see. There's a lot of it'd be good if we did this, but there's downsides to it, and every direction has some downside. Yeah, but do you want to kind of give an overview of the stuff you're working on?
Yeah. Let's see. So it was, it was really just to look at just to continue on going through those Svelte sort of I don't know what you call it, the functionality that you get for all of those Svelte the parts in the UI. So, and just thinking about how you could do that and going, oh yeah, just using AI to generate it. But it seemed to be able to, at a basic level, to be able to understand enough to do it. And I didn't really I sort of wasn't. I'm just trying to find it where it is, but whether that would be a good start, and like whether if I did it, because there wasn't too many more, I think, in the actual, like Phil had done quite a few of them at that time, like he covered up quite a few of them, so maybe at some point I could just continue on and then share it and see if that could be incorporated back into his one, or how you might want to do that.
It's a great question, because in talking with him, I think he's going a different direction he wants to work on a different language stack, which is totally fine. But I think he's more than willing to, hand off his work to somebody else who's interested in it. But I don't know that he's necessarily interested in continuing to do more cases. You know what I mean?
So I'm just gonna try and open it up in VS Code, but let's just new. There it is. I might just bring it over here, and I'll just share again. But I gone so completely I don't really understand the code. If you've written a bit of Go, probably understand some of these.
Sure.
But so I just was structuring it, and I had to even learn how to I created this mod file, because I thought it said, oh, this is the modern way to do it, or this is the way you should structure them, have them. But you could probably do that for the whole project. You wouldn't have to do it for each one or something. So it was maybe, I don't know, it was just the way it was going. But and then there was so basically, if you look at it, this one was just going on. See, so 20, so the numbering here matches those felt the functionality you get. So I don't even remember. So, and I tried to, where is it? That's the input group, and then you can see that I've tried to name them here a little bit. And anyway, so that, and some of them, that's the multi-select, but you can see from that test that I showed you, they seem to work. But I mean, so it's all just
so it looks like so can you scroll up a little bit there, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, so or back to where that template string is, all the green text.
Yes,
down
the
a little
template
more.
string. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like loading. So it's okay. So it's like loading some JavaScript and some event handlers right in the code. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, there's a couple of things that are kind of coming to mind looking at this stuff. So so we were recently talking about Temple, Ben.
Yes, that's right.
On one of our issues. So the way that Temple works, I mean, this is a little different, but I think they kind of have the same structure in a certain way. So Temple, basically, you write this code. It looks like kind of like React almost syntax, and then basically that like in the fact that it's like, okay, you have a Go function, and then you have like a template string that you're like a big template that you're writing, and then that compiles everything down into Go code, which then you wrap up into a binary. This is Go code as well, in the sense where it looks like the and maybe this would be different, like if you wrap it up. So it's generating Go code, and I think the Go code would have to be put into a binary itself.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
I don't know, like if you're changing your component, like if you're changing the stuff, does the Go code would change as well? And so
Mm,
like, are you having to recompile this every time? I'm just kind of figuring out like
mm,
what's generating this file here? Or is it that the other multiple select file you have? What's in that file there?
mm.
Oh, that's the binary for that. Okay,
That's the
gotcha.
binary, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
so you sort of create
yeah.
so it's actually doing it for each file here, the binary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And so I think what it's doing is it's putting this stuff to like a template string.
Mm,
Yeah, I might be. Again, I don't fully understand the best approach at any of this stuff. This looks like it
mm,
might be challenging in the fact that it's is all wrapped up in that template string. Because I don't know. Like, I think we
mm.
would really want like an abstract syntax tree to actually like
Yeah,
to actually
yes.
build the structure of this.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
But again, I don't know, Ben. Like, honestly, like I'm still
Mm,
trying to grasp at the
mm,
best way to approach this. I'm kind of out of my element in this a little bit myself.
mm,
Like the thing that I'm experimenting with is completely hacky the way I'm doing it. I'm just doing regex
mm,
on a file, and that's clearly not what we'd want to do long term. I'm just
mm,
trying to get something, like see if I can get something working, wrap my head around the problem space a little better. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
mm,
I'm not sure exactly
mhm.
the best way to approach it, but I think we're going to have some kind of like full parser to actually generate these things. Is
Yeah,
my
I
thought, is
see.
my gut feeling. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
see. Mm.
because I'm thinking like, so like that HTML that's in there, right? So that's an example.
Yes,
But how would you create, like how would you have that generate another example that's different than this,
example.
right? Like because your custom code would
Exactly,
be very different, right?
exactly,
And
yeah.
if you were to adjust the template string, then we'd have to recompile it. It not just compile the output, but compile like the Go program, so that someone would have to
Right,
be actually running Go and compiling things that way.
right,
Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. I
Yeah, I
mean,
see.
I
Mm.
sorry, I don't want to be discouraging at all. I just
Yeah, 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 yeah.
these
That
are all
that
questions that I think need to be answered, and yeah, I'm not sure the best structure of this stuff. I think, I mean, at this point where I'm at is I'm still
mm,
talking with folks and trying things out, but I don't think I'm
yeah,
anywhere
mm,
near set on the final direction. But so experiments
mm,
like this are super helpful. Do you have this in a public repository
mm.
I can take a look at?
No, I can just share it with you.
Yeah,
It's only just, yeah, those few folders that I did.
yeah,
But yeah, you can have a look. Yeah, sure.
sure. And are you using like ChatGPT, or how are you generating this stuff?
I'm using Claude.
Oh, Claude. Yeah,
Seems to be really good at code generation.
yeah.
So yeah.
I just for the first time started experimenting with Claude, and it
Mm,
remarkably does seem way better than the other stuff that I've tried. So
mhm.
yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
those guys are doing over there, but yeah, it seems pretty good.
good.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that's good. Well, I can share that and see what you and have a look at it. But yeah, right. Yeah, there's probably a lot more investigation that you need to do and just sort of testing out, things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was experimenting in
Mm,
my little repo. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to leave the HTML as close to what was written as possible, and then I'm trying to evaluate
mm.
it, and I'm doing it from a generating HTML first perspective. And then I'm
I
trying to think
see.
about how does interactivity get sprinkled in on top of it. And
Yeah, I see.
besides the fact that I don't have a true parser and I'm just doing regex, which is not a long-term viable solution, but besides that fact, I'm still kind of scratching my head around, okay, if you have all these little islands of interactivity, how are we doing passing of props and two-way binding and those type of things? And those are really
Mhm,
challenging problems that I'm not sure how to solve with the approach I'm taking. And talking with some other folks, I don't know if they have the best solutions for that either. So
mm.
I don't know. I think it's going to take a lot of people trying to solve the same problem, maybe teaming up and working together on some level.
Yeah, I see.
But
Mm,
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. I'm also thinking like global state and stores and those type of things.
mhm,
For me, it's how do we ship minimum JavaScript to the front end?
mm.
Because I don't know if you've run into that with Plenti at all, but we're shipping so much JavaScript that like it actually on a larger site can present challenges in terms of like SEO and those type of things. So I would really love to cut down on the sheer amount of JavaScript we're sending. And it looks like your approach is doing a good job with that as well, right? It seems like it's trying to do a less of generating everything into like a JavaScript component. It's focusing more on like the actual rendering of the template, which is good.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll stop sharing, but yeah, that's okay. It's really good, Jim. Lots to consider.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a look at it, Ben. So because it's hard for me to understand exactly what's happening just glancing at the code
Okay.
for the first time.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let me take a look at it, and I'll loop in with at least Matt, because I think Matt is still interested in solving this problem. So I'll bring it by him so we can take a look and we can see if there's maybe this is an approach that we can take. And yeah, if you ever want to look at my experiment, I have my repo. It's public in my GitHub too. Feel free to take a breeze on that. It's pretty messy at the moment, but let me see if I can find it. It's so if I oops, that's not GitHub. GitHub. Okay, my repo is called custom Go template. I'll put a link in here right now. Yeah, it's more of an idea generation thing at this point. I don't know that this turns into a final project more than just like, okay, what's possible here? And I'm not sure that anything I'm doing is the right approach. So the high level thing of what I'm trying to do is make sure scoping of CSS to components works. And then I'm also trying to think about scoping regular JavaScript to components as well. And then not worry about doing full JavaScript representations of components. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. I don't know if it's viable, and I think there might be some limitations. So I'm going to experiment with it for a little longer and see if it looks interesting. And then I might scrap it. I'm not sure. But that's what I'm playing with for now. So if you want to look at that, I'll look at yours, look at mine. We'll see if there's anything there that we can learn.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that sounds good, Jim. Okay. I can just, do you want me to just zip it up and put it in the chat here? Would it, or it's not a big folder structure or anything.
I don't know if we can share files on this. I don't know. I've never done it, but I'm not sure if this chat lets you share files or not. Do you have a repo, Ben, on like GitHub?
I could put it up.
Yeah, that might be just the easiest way to do it, and that way we can collaborate that way. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, thanks Jim. Yeah. Well, thank you for experimenting with that stuff. I think the more heads we can have like thinking about this stuff, the better. So yeah, I appreciate you taking a look.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Anything I can do, if I to help it is, anyway, just a bit interesting to see how you can. Yeah.
I mean, Claude's quite good. I've been using it just for like, playing around like simple stuff like bash scripts and terminal stuff and that kind of thing, but it's been really good at that. Where some other AIs I've tried have failed, it's actually done a good job of coming up with solutions. So it's good.
Yeah. I mean, and I just, it's good for even just small things. You got a little, so it's a little bit like it's turning into like a really nice assistant, a coding assistant, because it's like, you just might have some sort of little thing that you need to do, and it's like, even with CSS, it could be anything, and you just think, okay, just ask, and then it would just probably give you some pretty good options, and and possible solutions. So you know what I mean? So it's really good in that way. I'm finding it just as a companion.
Yeah.
Just a coding companion is really good.
Yeah. When I was using VS Code, I was using a plugin called Continue. And then I was pulling in like different AI models with that. And that was really good. I've been using NeoVim again more recently, and Continue, I think, is working on a plugin for NeoVim. So I'm looking forward to that, because it is nice for syntax and small things. Like the AI is a lot faster than Googling and going to Stack Overflow. So I really like it for that kind of stuff.
What was that? NeoVim?
NeoVim. Yeah, it's like a Vim. I guess I don't know. It's like some kind of improved Vim environment. I'm not sure.
Modern fast text editor
Yeah.
compatible with Vim. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's right. So it's not Visual Studio. Oh, you think it's better than Visual Studio Code?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It's different. I don't know. It's one of those kind of like masochistic things. It's like a terminal editor. So in a lot of ways, it's probably worse than VS Code, but it's very light and it's for like keyboard shortcuts and bindings and things. It's nice. And I'm doing a lot of kind of like automated things with like tmux and that kind of thing. So when I have that in my workflow, it makes it really nice.
Nice.
But honestly, I'm also wasting a lot of time configuring it. And it's the kind of thing where, is it worth the time you waste configuring it? Probably not. So I would recommend it with a grain of salt. I think it's cool. I'm enjoying it at some level, but I'm also wasting time that I probably should be spent doing other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
But check it out. Yeah, I mean, I have my config up on GitHub too, if you want to steal that.
To create tools to automate things and end up spending more time on the tool.
That's exactly right. So we have a couple of client projects that have several services running. So we have like MailPit and Pocket Base and Plenti and all these different things. And so with like tmux, and I use a program called Gmux, it's kind of similar to tmuxinator, but you can basically spin up all these processes, all these windows, and have it like with one command, right? And then you can attach and do a bunch of automated things. And so I was like really liking having that all in one terminal. So I decided to move away from VS Code back to NeoVim, which I used years ago.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but it's frustrating. So I don't know. I don't think it's not for the faint of heart.
With the Pocket Base, so Pocket Base works with Plenti, right?
Yeah, we're using it with Plenti on a couple of sites. And
how is it?
It's been good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to experiment and see if we can put it into a project one time, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got some pointers on how you might actually do that.
Yeah, it definitely makes the complexity of your project significantly more complex, but it it can do things that Plenti can't do, and that's the kind of the advantage, right? Private data, users who aren't content creators, that kind of thing. So it's definitely worth it, and I think it's the best solution of those small backend as a service solutions that you can actually manage yourself. I mean, there's solutions with way more features, but you'd have to kind of basically pay somebody else to do it, and they all have weird pricing and stuff. So I really like Pocket Base. I highly recommend it. There are some challenges integrating it with Plenti. I think I would love to make that process easier, and maybe we can take some of the lessons that we've already learned and bring it back to the Plenti project so they're public, because there's nothing in me that wants to hold them private to us. Like I just haven't had a chance to actually take in those things and made them public. But yeah, it'd be nice to make that a little easier. Right now it's, again, that's another thing it was kind of challenging, but it was necessary for our particular projects to have that, because we had like Stripe payments and those type of things. And yeah, it was, so we're actually, the other guy I work with, Steve, we're working on a marketplace for Pocket Base right now, because there's nothing exists right now. So for everyone who's not a Go developer who wants to be able to use plugins, we're trying to put that together. That's kind of something we've been working on. So hopefully that'll be out soon.
Okay. Nice. Marketplace, cool. That's nice.
Yeah, we figured someone has to build it. So yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, it's sort of nearly on the hour.
Yep.
So thanks again, Jim. I really appreciate that. Say hi to Stephanie and hope she's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice chatting with both of you guys. Thanks for hopping on the call. These are always fun to do. And yeah, we'll talk again next month.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheers.